Good evening. I'd like to call the November 4th, 2019 meeting of the Lenoir County Public School Board to order. And I would like to recognize Mr. Dick Harvey for our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interests of our young people. Amen.
Everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now I'll recognize Superintendent Williams for the approval of our agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Board of Education. Tonight, it is my honor and privilege to present to you for your consideration and hopefully your approval on tonight's agenda.
Motion to approve the board agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Hill and I believe a second by Mr. Smith. No questions or discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. I have just a few short comments. I hope everyone is adjusting well to the time change. It's mighty dark when we get here this time of year. And on that note, Mr. Outlaw, a lot of folks got here tonight. Obviously it was dark or very close to dark. And I'd just like to recognize your team. These folks weren't able to appreciate it, but I ride by here several times a day, and I'd like to thank your team for what they've done. It really looks nice out here. I noticed it. I hope others do as well, but I certainly have noticed it. Didn't look bad to start with, but it looks even better now. So thank you. And I'd also like to welcome our Crown Equipment. I'll say folks, employees, management here tonight. Thank you so much for coming and being, as Brent says, the superintendent says, a partner, not a vendor, but a partner with us in what we're doing. So thank you so much. And also I'd like to recognize our county commissioner, Mr. Preston Harris, for being here tonight. Thank you as well. Two other things. I look forward to seeing our board members, my fellow board members and others at the North Carolina School Board Association coming up November the 18th through the 20th. I really look forward to that. I really enjoyed it last year. I know Superintendent Williams will probably be talking about it a little bit, and as well as I believe we have a presentation on that in our agenda that we will be presenting on several topics. So I always look forward to that. It just makes Lenoir County Public Schools really shine. So look forward to that. And even though it's just over 3.5 weeks away, this is our last meeting before Thanksgiving. I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, a safe Thanksgiving. Someone like myself who is now a fairly new empty nester, you really begin to appreciate when your kids get to come home for more than just a couple of hours. I get to see mine now hours at a time instead of days, so I'm really looking forward to maybe 4 or 5 days of seeing my two kids. So I hope you and your family enjoy their Thanksgiving holiday, and then we'll be right on to Christmas. So anyway, that's it for me, and I'll turn it over to Superintendent Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With November, we are in the short rows, as they say, of the first semester for our high schools. You know, last year was our first revised calendar attempt at finishing the first semester in high school before Christmas and aligning with the community college schedule. That worked very well for us, so we were very pleased with it. Our folks, our stakeholders, our teachers, administrators, and parents have been very pleased with that process. So we're anticipating, it's been a very smooth semester so far, pre-K-12, but we're anticipating that the high school schedule will again work well for us, and that the alignment with the community college will continue to pay off as we go further and further down the road with CCP and our partnership with Lenoir Community College. But with all of our schools, I do want to thank our teachers, our administrators, and our parents for how hard they're working. You're going to hear tonight in this meeting about a record number of grant proposals, mini grant proposals that our teachers have created and submitted. And each of the last 3 years, we have dramatically increased our number of mini grant proposals. At the same time, our test scores have been increasing steadily, and our dropout rate has decreased to the lowest in the history of our school system, and graduation rate has increased to the highest point in the history of our district. The discipline rate has fallen to the lowest point in our history. All of these metrics points are significant. It means that we're all working together in unison for the same thing, to provide the best and most effective educational opportunities we can for our kids. Now, November is a time we start with the enthusiasm at the beginning of the year. November is a time when I always worry, because that arc of a school year, that enthusiasm can wane in November. The days get shorter, and that enthusiasm, euphoria from the beginning of the year is a distant memory, and the holidays have not yet kicked in. So I worry about November. We say that to our folks all the time. But I do want to thank our teachers for all that they're doing to make our learning meaningful, effective, engaging, and stimulating for the young people we serve. And we are going to continue that upward trend with the test scores in high school that first semester ends before Christmas, and when they start up a whole new year after Christmas, and all of our pre-K-12 students will continue to succeed. I see many students and parents in the audience tonight. I know many of you are here for the Digital Learning Showcase, and we're very pleased and proud to share that with you and what our young students are doing. I'm particularly proud to see our corporate partners from the manufacturing community here, to see what our district is doing. We are one of the 2 leading districts in the Southeast region for digital learning, and we are the only district in the Southeast region to have earned the prestigious NCDPI coding grant from the state for 2 out of the last 3 years to make pre-K-12 coding curriculum a reality in our school system. We're very pleased by that. So you'll hear about that tonight, but welcome to the teachers, to the parents, and to, most of all, to our young people here who are here tonight. You're a very important part of this meeting tonight, and we're glad that you're here. I want to celebrate our Board of Education. Our members, as the chairman noted in his comments, will be going to their state conference in a couple weeks, week after next, and they have earned an honor. We have been invited to present 5 different presentations. For the last 3 years, Lenore County has, and we're hoping to make it 4 consecutive years, out of the 115 school systems, we have had more invitations to present instances of excellence and innovation in learning, presentations, breakout sessions, presentations, than any other school system in the state. So we're hoping that that will again be the case. Last year we had 5 presentations selected. This year we've been invited to present 5 presentations. Ms. Harry's going to be giving you a summary of those later, so we're very, very pleased by that. And our representatives from our leadership team from Crown Manufacturing is here, and I want to say a special thank you to this leadership team. And we met with them some time ago, and they were imparting a vision for a career academy, and they've realized this vision in another state, but they wanted to make it a reality in North Carolina, in Eastern North Carolina, and specifically in Kinston, North Carolina, partnering with LCPS. And we are so pleased and proud and grateful for that opportunity and the partnership. They've been energetic, and it's not been delegated to middle level management or beyond, but the leader of the company and his executive leadership team have taken a significant role, and they've been out in our schools, in all of our high schools, and walking around and being on site, and meeting our teachers and walking through our classes, and really planning this new venture, which I won't steal Ms. Jones' thunder, but the nucleus we already have together, the nucleus of a career academy that hopefully will result in our students not only having apprenticeships and pre-apprenticeship opportunities, but will result in good paying jobs for the students we serve, and they can go seamlessly. That is our core mission, to connect our students to a prosperous future, and this will allow them to go seamlessly from where they are as students all the way through high school, with some pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship opportunities, paid and then they will move into actual jobs with the company if they're selected. So we're so proud of that. We're also working with Spirit Aero Systems for something similar, but Crown was the first, and we're pleased, and we're really getting to more of a fruition point with them at an earlier stage. So thank you to Crown for being here tonight, and we all look forward to that presentation. I believe, and I don't think this is speaking in hyperbole, I think it's a fact, this has the potential to change the lifestyle for many of our families and many of our students moving forward, and to offer them something significant and additional to what they have in terms of opportunities now. So we thank you for being here. Lenoir County Public Schools teachers dominated the 3-county competition for the 2019 Bright Ideas grants awarded on October 24th by Tri-County Electric Membership Corporation in Dudley, North Carolina. Of the 100 grants recognized by Tri-County for Wayne, Duplin, and Lenoir counties in their service area, 45 of the 100 grants were valued at more than $28,000 went to teachers from our district. And this is even more significant when one considers that for the local competition, fewer than half of our 17 schools were eligible because the kids have to live in the service area for this co-op. Every school in North Carolina is eligible for a Touchstone Energy Electric Cooperatives grant, but some of our schools had to apply for the statewide competition and some for local. But by comparison, 31 of 33 schools in Wayne County were eligible, and 15 of the 17 in Duplin County were eligible, and we had 9 of our schools were eligible. And actually 8 of our schools were eligible, and we were able to earn 45 out of the 100. The effort that our teachers have put into this is significant, the additional effort, and you can measure that in the progress. Now, how does this go? We used to average each year about 15 to 25 grants submitted, grant proposals submitted, and we would get a handful of those grants. And then we went for a few years and we had a few more, and then we did some backsliding. So this is significant. At the local level, our school winners were. They had give away awards to the top 3, the best of the best they call it, and 2 of the 3 best of the best were Lenoir County Public Schools educators. Ms. Helen Lewis from Pink Hill Elementary School and Ms. Kimberly Hipkiss from North Lenoir High School were 2 of the best of the best. And we celebrate them and for their additional accomplishments. And they received, I believe, some compensation above a prize above their grant for classroom use. So $28,000 these teachers simply created from their additional effort. So we salute them. From Banks Elementary School, and we're going to call the names, and we have 45 winners, and we will be recognizing our state level winners at the next board meeting. But our winners from the local were Banks Elementary School, Heather Huggins, Dawn Hill, Reagan Crowley, Carol Willis, Jessica Henson, Kimberly Smith and Jennifer Jones. E.B. Frink Middle School, Chadwick Stokes, Lauren Smith, Sandy West, Pamela Pate, and Kristen Davenport. Lagrange Elementary School, Crystal Perry, Alicia Davis, Katie Sowers, Emily Daniels, Jessica Stanley, Lisa Davis, and Jennifer Sutton. Lenoir County Early College High School, Mr. Travis Town. Moss Hill Elementary School, Sharon Denlinger, Molly Barwick, Susan Barwick, Donna Cassad, Miranda Everett, Rachel Braswell, and Christina Jones. North Lenoir High School, Kimberly Hipkiss, Lee Holder, and Lynn Thaxton. Pink Hill Elementary School, Amy Taylor, Helen Lewis, Jennifer McLawhorn, Leanne Hall, Myra Acott, Johan Maria Aviles, Jennifer Grubbs, Betsy Mercer, Jamie Finch, and Walter Upthegrove. South Lenoir High School, Ryan Gardner, Sarah York, and Heaven Tyndall. Woodington Middle School, Tracy Howard, Anna Rouse, Majesty McPhail, and Sherry Sanders. So please congratulate these educators when you see them on a job well done. They were treated to a steak dinner over at the co-op in Dudley week before last, and after the banquet, they presented the checks to them, and then they presented the best of the best awards, and our folks were able to go and get good feedback on future grants. Lenore County Public Schools also has had 11 state Bright Ideas mini grants winners. We've been invited week after next to go to the State View Hotel in Raleigh, and they will have Touchstone Energy Cooperatives will have a statewide celebration for the 115 school systems. Last year we were number 8 in the state, behind Charlotte Meck, behind Guilford, Orange County, Cumberland County, and the only other one in our region was Sampson County. So we're very pleased. We're hoping to move up from 8 this year in the rankings, but our state level winners will bring them in. Our state level winners will bring in Jesse right next month. We're bringing them in after the program. Contently Savannah K-8 School, Amanda Price, Nicole Hathaway, Morgan Delaney, April Maudlin, Amy White, Adrienne Evans. Kinston High School, Vicki Wessel and Sarah Levin. Northwest Elementary School, Jaretta Durant. Southwood Elementary School, their first statewide grant ever for this grant program, and it's significant to me because it's the first one for which they've applied. My uncle used to be in sales, and he said, it's a sure no if you don't go. If you don't try to get it, you're not going to get it. Measure the difference in the extra effort that our educators have put forward. Southeast Elementary School, Crystal Taylor and Anna Smith, and we'll give you more about that next month. Congratulations to Frink Middle School winner of the 2019-2020 LCPS Beautification Mini Grant. Frink was the overall winner, with Pink Hill Elementary School and Southwood Elementary School also receiving funding. If the board chair and vice chair would help me in recognizing these schools. We have Frink Middle School coming first for the beautification grant, and then Pink Hill and Southwood after that. Okay. As they say, what's that show, The Price is Right? Come on down. If the board chair or vice chair will stay, we have one additional. Congratulations to Northwest Elementary School and Lagrange Elementary School co-winners. We had our committee, I had to send this back to them 2 different times, and they came back and wanted to go a 3rd time, and I said, no, we'll just give co-winners, because the rankings on their criteria sheet were exactly the same, and that almost never happens. But then they went from the criteria to the overall impact to the school, and both were outstanding. So we had co-winners, and this is for the LCPS School Improvement Grant for 1920, also receiving funding. The Northwest Elementary School was the overall winner, and they shared it with Lagrange Elementary School, so we'll bring the 2 of them forward. And then also receiving funding, Pink Hill Elementary School and Southwood Elementary School. So if our winners would come forward, please.
see you, Bruce.
I'm also pleased to share with you, as it's been a running theme with us, it's in our strategic plan for continuous improvement. And I'm very pleased to share with you that I was contacted by the Lenore County Chamber of Commerce, and I wasn't surprised to hear it, but I was very affirmed in hearing it. But they received more applications from Lenore County Public Schools than they ever have, over 200 applications. And they've had years in which they received just a handful. But for the Education Foundation, for mini grants for our teachers, money goes directly to the classrooms. That's why they have their golf tournament and their other fundraisers and the spelling bee. So thank you to the Chamber of Commerce, and we look forward to those results. And we're pleased and excited about it. We have one more announcement. I would like to congratulate Mr. Elijah Woods, one of our board members. He's been selected to serve on the state board for the Commission of National Parks, or Commission of State Parks in North Carolina. So, Mr. Woods, congratulations. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Do you have any public comments? That being said, we'll start with our presentation information portion of our agenda, our digital learning student showcase with Mrs. Lynch and some special guests.
As part of our ongoing digital initiative, we have Moss Hill Elementary School with us tonight to present and to showcase their use of digital learning. The coding cohort classes from Moss Hill Elementary School will showcase beginning lessons with Apple's Get Started with Code curriculum. Digital learning specialist Katherine Lynch, second grade teacher Joey Gray, and fifth grade teacher Holly Ayers will showcase lessons that highlight key coding concepts while modeling how coding can be applied to other learning areas. Students present tonight are second graders Jaylee Levy and CJ Dula, and fifth graders Riley Hughes, Caden Daniels, and Silas Rigsby.
And I believe we have embedded in this, ladies, I believe we have a surprise for our board. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
I thought so.
Good surprise?
I thought
Oh, it's a great surprise. Great surprise.
You will be amazed.
We hope you're sharp.
Oh,
That's what we're. So, first of all, my name's Katherine Lynch, and I'm the digital learning specialist at Moss Hill. We are very excited to be a part of the elementary coding cohort that was started this year in Lenore County. The curriculum that we're using with our elementary students in the county is phenomenal, and it's giving us an opportunity to highlight with our students not just what coding is, but starting them at the ground and building our elementary students up, to let them see that coding is a way of thinking for them, that it's not just taking the iPad or taking a robot and moving it, but it's that way of thinking and how it's embedded into the curriculum that they are seeing and engaged in every day in their classrooms. So tonight we have two different activities. I had the opportunity as the digital learning specialist to go in with these two ladies and co-teach and co-plan in their classrooms through the curriculum. So we have a lesson tonight for the second grade group that actually is using the technology, and then we have an unplugged coding activity that we did with our fifth grade class that we're going to be looking for some volunteers, so pay attention.
We have 7 up here.
Oh, that's great, that's great, that's great. So I'm going to turn it over to Miss Gray and her second grade students.
They're just three volunteers.
Hi, my name is Joey Gray, and I teach second grade. So the great thing about these lessons, like Miss Lynch said, is that you can relate it to what you're already teaching in the classroom. It's not just all technology. So my students were already learning about a first, then, next, last, and retelling a story with an order of events. So we're reading the story Trouble at the Sandbox. The students were able to work in groups of about 4 to 5 students per group. I had them go together and write out 4 to 5 events depending on how many were in their group. Once the students were finished, they each chose an event, and Jaylee, what did they do?
We opened up Kino and drew a picture of our part of the story.
Okay, can you show them what you did? So this is Jaylee's picture. Just hold it up. And what are they doing in that picture, Jaylee?
They were making the volcano.
Making a volcano in the sandbox. Can you hold your picture up? Can you hold it up? Can you guys show it to me? What were they doing in your part of the story?
The big boys were coming.
Okay, so the big boys were coming. And I know you haven't read the story, but so CJ, what did y'all do once you were finished drawing?
Our group went to the front of the class and made sure we would make stuff. The rest of the class had to put us in the right order. Then Miss Lynch recorded us describing the details in the correct sequence.
So they had to put them in the right order and in the correct sequence. So once they were done, Ms. Lynch did video them retelling the story. They were able to upload their videos to Seesaw so the rest of the class could see. They also were able to record a reflection where they told the meaning of sequencing, and that's the first part of coding, is having a good sequence.
Great job, Great job to our young people. Thank you so much for that.
So my name is Holly Ayers, and I teach 5th grade, and I'm going to stand. I hope you don't mind. My students that are with me, Silas Rigsby, Caden Daniels, and Riley Hughes. And while Miss Lynch is setting up, I'll tell you a little bit about what we were doing. So 5th grade science is huge. There's a lot of different parts and a lot of different things that we had to know. So we started out with ecosystems, and we took it back. This is our unplugged. So Miss Lynch and I had the idea that in order for our students to really understand the different parts of a food chain within an ecosystem, they needed to understand how energy flowed. And so we had students create a code, and our flow of energy, which will be Caden Daniels tonight, had to follow the code in order to get from the correct producer to the, what's the next, what's the first consumer called? Primary consumer. And then they go, that energy goes to the secondary, and then that energy goes to, what's that word? Tertiary. Okay, and something else that we learned about, to take it a little bit further, is that each individual level, do you remember what they were called? Trophy levels, yes, you're right. So if you don't mind, Caden, did you have a question for our board? So would somebody, so our students, 2 of our students are going to write a code, and Caden wants to know if any of you would like to try following that code before he perfects it. Any volunteers? I think we just need to draw a
Now, this isn't already started the 5th grade.
Depends on if you hear the buzz.
I know where this is going. I know this is going.
While they're setting up this, I will say one thing that was great about this activity with the 5th graders, they each took turns writing the code. But then they saw how important the sequence was when they actually had to be that flow of energy to go through the path of the food chain. And how if one part of the code was not in the correct sequence, the flow didn't work like it was supposed to. So bringing that back to reflect the importance of sequence was very powerful for them, and they loved it. So then we brainstormed some activities that we could go back in with the mats and do in math and in social studies and in, you know, ELA, the different curriculum areas.
Okay, which one will maybe in science?
I was an English teacher.
There are no,
That's his,
History, yeah, we are useless.
there are no
Sorry.
No lifelines, that's it.
We are liberal arts, all the way over here.
I was industrial technology.
Well, I think that's you then. That sounds very sciencey. There's people in the room that don't know what's on the floor. Would you like me to describe that for you?
yeah, I would. I would.
So there are different squares on the floor, and each square or tile has a picture of either a crop or an insect or an animal, and it looks as if y'all are just about ready to get started on the food chain. Okay.
Okay, so. You want me to start, that's one of my, okay. Okay, so you want to get to the number?
Which food you on now?
Right turn.
That's a good question, Mr.
To my right? My left.
Your left.
Very good.
Yay.
And then where are they? Okay, so you want to explain to him, he was probably busy listening and not looking. You want to explain to him the different levels that he went through and the different animals and plants that he maybe saw along the way? Anybody? Really?
So where did he start?
Where did he start at? Okay, which one? Where did he start? So, okay, so what feeds off of the mangoes? The fruit flies, okay, and the fruit flies give energy to what? The frog, okay, and the frog gave energy to, which is where he ended up. So that was kind of something that we worked with Miss Lynch on, understanding that simple directions, not even, I mean, just in life in general, but we took it into ecosystems that we could direct the flow of energy, not only one, but many ways throughout a food chain. And these were just some of the ways that they could come up with.
So the python ate the frog.
And it was frog legs.
To the students, To the students, to Ms. Lynch, the DLS, to the teachers, great job to all of you, and to Ms. Cawley. Very proud of your folks tonight. And to the parents here, thank you for sharing your young people with us every day. Let's give them a round of applause. Great job.
All right, thank you, students and parents. Our next item for presentation will be our Crown Career Activity Partnership, Mrs. Amy Jones, and our guest from Crown.
Ask them to sit on the front row. Yeah, you can sit right here beside me.
Okay.
I need a photograph. You ready? Any volunteers?
We have our board chair as volunteer. He wants to learn about the manufacturing of a forklift.
I can use a forklift.
Told him we might be able to help him. We can show him something else.
We can help.
Well, that is really hard to follow, so thank you all for having us here tonight. We are very, very excited to announce our official start of our Crown Pre-Apprentice program this semester, with students to begin work in the second semester. Crown will be offering 3 pre-apprenticeship positions to 3 LCPS seniors. We chose seniors because those students can apply for an apprenticeship at the end of their second semester of their senior year upon graduation. The areas of work are fabrication, welding, and industrial maintenance. And it's very appropriate that we're announcing it this month because this is actually Career Development Month, so we're super excited about that. These are just some reminders of the slides I shared with you last month regarding our pre-apprenticeship program. It just reminds you of what the qualifiers are and how this is a valuable opportunity for both students and for the partnership, our partner company. It certainly is a partnership. It's a two-way street. Our students gain benefit, and Crown gains benefit as well from having our students come work for them. And then this is the apprenticeship slide. We also looked at that one last month as well. And this is what our students can apply for upon completion of their pre-apprenticeship program in the second semester. So to the exciting stuff. We've been going through a process this semester where students have applied for the pre-apprenticeship through Crown. We've done an online application form. We've talked with all of the school counselors and asked them to look for students that would benefit from this program, that would have an interest in this program and take advantage of the opportunity. And as part of that process, one of our requirements was that our students actually visit Crown and meet with the leadership team from Crown. And then we had a tour of the facility. So we were pretty excited about having our students as well as their families with us that evening. And we learned more about Crown Equipment Corporation, the company's values and philosophy. And then of course the tour was great. So these are some of the students and families who came that night. Todd Freidiger and Rosemary Jones gave a comprehensive overview of the company and included some inspirational words of encouragement for our students. They also fed us dinner, which was great. After the meeting, all of us were treated to a tour of the plant led by the training administrator, Bill Edmondson. It was a very informative night for all, and we were appreciative of our gracious host. Our next steps with the program, we've collected all the applications, we've collected the paperwork from the counselors, transcripts, attendance profiles, all of those things. And we're going to set up interviews with the students. Students who are selected for this program will meet with their counselors to finalize their second semester schedule. Students will earn high school credit for their work hours at Crown, as well as receive an hourly pay rate. In addition, students will add Lenore Community College classes that align with their work area. So Lenore Community College has been a partner with us in this as well. And so it's my pleasure to introduce to you our leadership team for the Crown Career Academy Partnership. Most importantly, our special guest from Crown tonight, Todd Freiger, Plant Manager, Rosemary Jones, the Human Resource Manager, Bill Edmondson, Manufacturing Training Administrator, and 2 of our team members could not be here tonight, Ricky Jones, Senior Advanced Manufacturing Engineer, Daniel Smith, Maintenance Supervisor. Those 2 gentlemen have given me a lot of information about what they do, and I have learned a ton. And then I was on the leadership team, as well as Jessica Scheimer, our Career Development Coordinator for the county, who's been coordinating our application process for us. So at this time, I'm going to ask Todd if he doesn't mind saying a few words about our partnership.
Yeah, I would.
I told Rosemary the other day when we completed this, that this is the single biggest thing we've ever done as a company. Now, Crown's been around since 1945, Kinston plant since around 1987. We're doing something here that's going to make a difference in young people's lives, which I think we need to be more and more involved. I mean, this is where we need to start. And the gist of this, or the meat and potatoes, is we're going to get a high school student, and I know next year it'll be a junior, right?
Right.
So you'll be 16 years old, you'll come into Crown, you can work up to 20 hours a week, you'll make $12 an hour, and you can go to school. And during that time frame, after you graduate from high school, you'll get free college. You'll get your college tuition paid for, which is phenomenal. On top of that, also, we're going to guarantee that we're going to hire these individuals in our company if they choose to. If they choose not to, that's fine as well. But the goal here is to create productive youth that will have a skill, whether it be in welding or fabrication or equipment maintenance, and they can go out. If they don't want to go to college, they can get a good paying job. And I guess my goal was to make a difference in there are people, there's poverty here. We've got a chance to make a difference in these people's lives and people that maybe could support their families when they're coming in here or working. So this is passionate to us as a group. I mean, really, this group with Jessica, they did all of the work. We helped, we worked together to provide the platform, and we're going to pull it off, and we're going to get it done. Now, we made the announcement at the Lenoir County Manufacturing Association. I think the big dream would be to get everybody that is in manufacturing to do this, and before you know it, we have 100. Scholarships would be phenomenal, and kids being able to work, and you making $12 an hour is pretty good money. I made like $1.32 when I was in high school, so we met with the, I think we had 7 to 9 students in there that night. It was a great couple of hours meeting. We're really looking forward to this partnership. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
For all the hard work.
Very appreciative. And we, when Jessica and I looked around the room and saw the students and the families that were there that night, we thought this is a game changer. This is a big deal. And so we're excited to have this opportunity for our students. It's something that we haven't done before, so this is a new step for us too. And how wonderful that Crown has agreed to be the very first ones to help us pilot this and try it out. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for letting us.
I want to say to Mr. Freitiger and the whole and everybody, the whole leadership team, on behalf of this school system and the board, I would like to say to express to you our sincere gratitude for your willingness to engage in this partnership. Beyond that, your willingness to lead it and to come to us, because they actually did come to us. We've had an idea for many years for a career academy, but we never could get that missing piece of a motivated manufacturing entity to come and say, look, we've got this idea, we've already done it somewhere else, we'd like to do it here and take your kids from idea stage to employment and full college tuition and a good paying job. So we thank you very much. Thank you.
I need to ask Mr. White, what is the password for the boardroom? You can say that loud. Oh.
Have you been kicked off? Me too.
Okay. Thank you.
Our next presentation will be our LCPS Points of Innovation selected for our North Carolina School Board Association presentations. And we have Mrs. Herring.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. We have been, we're very honored to have been selected to present 5 presentations at the North Carolina School Board Association Conference this month in Greensboro. The first presentation is entitled Transforming School Board Meetings from Information, Sharing, Discussing, Voting to Leading and Learning by Truly Engaging with All Stakeholders. And I believe tonight's meeting is a perfect example of that. In this presentation, our visitors will learn how Lenore County Public Schools has transformed its school board meetings from focusing solely on information and action items to strategic engagement sessions that provide board members and other stakeholders with many opportunities to not only hear what is happening, but also to engage in and to experience the across-the-board system-wide transformation. At each monthly meeting and work session, board members engage directly with staff members, our students, parents, and our community members in every aspect of the school system, including digital learning, curriculum and instruction, and many school support initiatives.
We had to submit samples of tape board meetings and agendas and all that. One of the things that we got on feedback that the School Boards Association really liked about what we're trying to do, it wasn't really just about the meetings, that's the title of this presentation, but the presentation itself focuses on the strategic planning efforts and the engagement of the board, and the fact that you're in your third, you just completed your third consecutive strategic planning session, but 3 sessions ago was the first one since 1995 and the second one ever for our board. So they were, I think we saw that in the feedback, and the other thing that they liked is how we try to bring everything back monthly, and in all that we do with committee meetings, and we just had one of those last week, we did committee sessions, but committee meetings and work sessions and everything that we do, we bring it back to that strategic focus, and everything comes to that, our main mission. So that's what we'll convey, and we're inviting 2 of the board members, and really anybody, all board members are invited to attend, but we asked 2 of the board members to participate in that presentation, and hopefully others would like to attend and join us as well.
Thank you. So our next one is building stronger family support structures at the high school level, family engagement structures in a high-needs high school. And in this presentation, we've asked Ms. Bryant, Ms. Milford, and Ms. Jones to present on the increasing family engagement at the high school level and how difficult that can be. You'll learn how a Title I high school has structured its parent engagement programming to increase family engagement and build community supports for students. Over the past 5 years, the increased parent engagement has combined with instructional transformation efforts to increase student achievement of both proficiency and growth. This presentation will be on Monday the 18th from 4 to 5:15.
That is, of course, Kinston High School is the focus of that presentation.
Yes, sir. Our next approved presentation is Road to Recovery, the 4th time around, how Floyd, Irene, and Matthew influenced Florence and Dorian response. This will be Mr. Harvey and Mr. Santaman. They'll discuss lessons learned from prior hurricane events and how that informed the planning and preparation for Hurricane Florence. Meeting student, staff, and family needs was the primary focus of school system efforts. LCPS will share strategies for proactive planning with emergency management, media, health and human services, and relief agencies.
One of the big spotlights on the focused feedback we received on that one is they were interested in what happens when a school becomes more than a school. In a crisis situation, South Lenore High School was used as a field hospital, a mobile hospital, and pretty much was more than just a school. It was the emergency oasis for the community for food, for medical care, and really for emergency response as well. So we're focusing on that and taking Mr. Santaman to the presentation. Of course, Mr. Harvey, we received statewide recognition for what we've learned. I won't say what we've done, but what we've learned in the course of recovery with 3 consecutive hurricanes. Okay.
Yes. Our 4th presentation is Market, 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 using a combination of cutting-edge and traditional approaches to marketing to build a collective community opinion that public schools are the best available choice to educate children. This will be Mr. Holmes, and then members of the CIET team, Ms. Lynch, Dr. McLeod, and Ms. Jones. Public schools must market themselves as the best choice for parents among many available options. Learn how LCPS strategically and comprehensively markets our district as a school system of choice, using a balanced combination of traditional marketing strategies and cutting-edge, outside-the-box approaches to winning the hearts and minds of all of our stakeholders.
Mr. Holmes was asked to present on this topic a few weeks ago here when we hosted a regional summit for public information officers from all the districts in the southeast region, and we got some very good feedback from that. and we're looking forward to his presenting there a combination of social media and old school marketing with billboards, regular websites, even radio ads, and we're not really seeing that from any other school system around. So we're on the cutting edge with that, and thank you, Mr. Holmes, and thank you for the board because it was originally in your strategic planning from the retreat last year that a lot of this came forward from. So we thank you for your vision in that.
Yes. And our final presentation at the School Board Association will be given by Dr. McLeod, Ms. Green from Contentney Savannah, and Ms. Morgan, who's a math curriculum coach at CSS. It's from the boardroom to the classroom, engaging students with poverty in mind. Engaging students with poverty in mind served as an evolving theme for our school board retreat and administrative retreat for the past probably 2 years now. Aligned conversations about engagement promoted a deeper understanding of the supports necessary to allocate resources to meet the needs of children in poverty. As a result, schools embedded professional development to provide focus and encourage intentional integration of strategies to grow cognitive capacity. Join us in sharing district, school, and classroom practices to deepen learning and teaching for students of poverty.
So 3-year poverty study, we're very proud of it, and you guys have been a big part of that. It started with your school board retreat,
Yes.
and it moved forward to every stakeholder in the district.
That is it. And those are our 5 presentations. So we're very excited, and we are looking forward to being able to present these.
Ms. Herring, you want to share about our national presentation that we just heard about 2 weeks ago?
Yes, so we've been invited to present in Chicago at the National School Board Association Conference. Miss Amy Jones's presentation on career pathways has been selected to represent the state of North Carolina at the national conference in April, I believe. And so we are very excited about that.
Lenore County Public Schools has never had that, and North Carolina averages about 1 to 2 presentations at that conference per year. So that's a very big deal for
Very
us.
good deal.
And as a North Carolina school system and for our own context as well, CPS. So we're very pleased with it. So congratulations, Ms. Jones and the instructional team for submitting that.
Thank you, Mrs. Harrigan. I look forward to seeing those presentations. Okay, our next item is our Ipg Grant summary. We'll stay with Mrs. Harrigan.
Thank you. Again, I just wanted to give the board a brief overview of the North Carolina Innovative Partnership Grant Competition that we are applying for currently. It applies to 2 schools, and that's Southeast Elementary School and Lenore County Learning Academy. The purpose of the program is to carry out the State Education Agency's statewide system of technical assistance and support for entities, and entities are, of course, our districts or LEAs, which have schools identified as schools in need of comprehensive support improvement, CSI designation, under the state's federally approved plan for the Every Student Succeeds Act, also known as ESSA. This competition will provide additional fiscal resources, technical support, and regular school visits to improve student achievement and ultimately to assist these schools with exiting the federal identification and status of CSI. I provided you a document uploaded from DPI to help explain the CSI designation and how it comes to be and how it is determined. The Comprehensive School Improvement Designation is in 3 different categories. The first is CSI Low Performing, LP, CSI Low Graduation Rate, which is LG, and then CSI Additional Targeted Support Not Exiting Such Status. And none have been identified at this time because we're not far enough along in the sequence to have any schools yet to fall into that category. The CSI LP schools are the lowest performing 5% of all schools receiving Title I Part A funds served in the state. To be eligible to receive these funds, an entity must have 1 or more schools, and we do, identified under the federally approved definition for CSI schools. Funding will be made based on a competitive process. Our understanding is there are 72 eligible schools that can compete for this grant, and there are only 12 awarded. So it is a very competitive grant. If an entity is applying on behalf of more than 1 CSI school, which we are, a separate application is required for each school. and the applications must be unique to the needs of each of those schools. The grant requires several different things: a consistent administration beginning July 2020, a full-time 12-month school coach who will serve each school individually, and that salary is paid from the grant funds, an external partner selected from a designated list, which is also paid for from the grant. The award minimum is $300,000, but the award maximum is $1.5 million. And what we understand is that they may select part of our grant or the whole grant, so they can pick and choose and pick it apart, so we may get the full amount requested or a portion of it. And identified needs found in the comprehensive needs assessment from each school. So the DPI conducted a comprehensive needs assessment at both Southeast and LCLA in the spring, and we must use that document as a guiding document as we apply for the grant. The grant timeline began in August of this year when the grant opportunity was initially announced. We had to submit our intent to apply letter by September the 6th, 2019. The grant application is due very soon on November the 15th. We will be notified on January 13th with either a notification of intent to fund or a notification not to fund. If you look at, they give, it's actually a 4-year process. So 1920 will actually be our planning year. So once the grant is awarded, we hope, in January, we will use the remainder of this school year to plan. And then 2021 is a full implementation year. The next year, 21-22, is also a full implementation year. And then the final year is 22-23, that's year 4. And that is, we have to prove sustainability after the end of the grant. Currently, to date, we have conducted several brainstorming sessions with both principals of the schools. Principals have presented the grant opportunities to their staff and worked through brainstorming protocols with their teachers. Central Services has met with school staff on their site to provide updates of the grant process and to receive feedback from them. A parent survey has been drafted and sent home to gain parent feedback and support, which is also required of the grant. The curriculum instruction team has conducted a phone interview and follow-up conferences with the West Ed representatives. And West Ed is one of the 9 approved vendors that you have to choose one of the 9 approved vendors, and the cost of the vendor comes from the grant. We have upcoming conference calls planned with West Ed to include principals and the West Ed representatives. And then we've had drafting sessions for each grant currently in process. After reviewing the approved list of vendors, as mentioned earlier, required to partner in order to be eligible for the grant, we've narrowed down the search to West Ed. They use what they call the 4 domains of rapid improvement. The 4 domains of rapid improvement are talent development, instructional transformation, culture shift, and turnaround leadership. We determined that these domains were very similar to the 4 goals that we have identified for LCPS to move forward, including our instructional excellence and alignment, our equity and access, our professional capacity, and accountability. And these are the 4 domains that we worked with this summer at the retreat with the board. West Ed also has a proven track record in North Carolina after being chosen by the Department of Public Instruction to review and assess the status of the Leandro case. The report created by West Ed was recently published and shared with the governor, DPI, and the courts. We are working very hard on each application and are hopeful that we will be awarded our complete request. The competition is very difficult with 72 eligible schools and only 12 grants awarded in the first cohort. If we keep we will keep the board up to date on the status of our efforts, and if we are not successful in cohort 1, we will pursue the next cohort round. So that's where we are, and we are not complete with the drafts as of yet, but they are on the way, and we'll be ready to submit on the 15th of November. Is there any questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Herring.
Thank you.
Our last item under presentation is our financial report. Mr. Adams.
Thank you. Good evening, board members. The October 2019 financial report summarizes budget and year-to-date activity for all the North County Board of Education fund sources. Additionally presented is the fund balance for the local current expense fund. Excuse me. As you have a chance to review the report, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We're still doing okay without a state budget.
Okay is
It's very disappointing.
not ideal.
We're operating within safe ranges of projections based on previous years and using partial funding models that we feel are safe to operate within, but it really is limbo and there's no other way to characterize it, so we do look forward to a resolution of that.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to our action portion of the agenda. And our first item is the NC STAR plans. Mrs. Herring.
Up again. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you recall, at the last board meeting on October the 7th, I presented to you a review of all 17 comprehensive school improvement plans for our schools. And I respectfully ask tonight that these plans be approved by the board so that they can be uploaded to DPI. Are there any questions about any of them?
These plans were mentioned last week, in a committee meeting that I attended. And so I'm assuming these plans are kind of a work in progress.
Oh, absolutely.
Changes
They're a
can
living
and will be
document.
made.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. The schools are required to meet twice a month. The school improvement team meets as a whole, and then they can meet as committees. But all those meetings, the agendas for both meetings every month are uploaded, the minutes from those meetings, and it's an ongoing, continuous transformation process. So they're constantly reviewing, where are we in this goal? What progress have we made? What's working? What's not working?
And my new documentation is kept in a warehouse, for instance, right down to something as basic as who logs on and when they log on, and it's time stamped, and then we have a spreadsheet for who's accessed the information, who's changed what about it, and the degree to which it was changed. So we do, and we have benchmarks throughout the year in monitoring those plans, but the big picture of it is school improvement and checking off the strategic goals of the school as they're working toward making progress on moving forward toward achieving.
And we will be doing a mid-year check-in for you. We're asking the schools to come back in, like we did at the beginning of the year, where they present the plans initially. We'll be requesting the same process in January for the schools to come in and present to us the status of their plans.
We're providing disproportionate time for the schools that have not met expected growth or are struggling in other ways. We're providing disproportionate, more intensive review sessions for them.
And of course, the whole board is invited to attend. And we'll let you know. They have not been scheduled yet, but we'll let you know when they are.
So in the plans where maybe the staff member is no longer there, that particular goal or, well, if you will, goal has been reassigned to another staff member?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any more questions? If not, I'll call the vote. I'll accept, a motion to accept the NC STAR plans.
Motion to approve the NC STAR plans as presented.
We have a motion by Mr. Bogan.
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Davis. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, our next action item will be our North Carolina School Board Association policy revisions. Superintendent Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, members of the board will bring you forward for your vote, consideration for approval, the items that we brought forward in the last meeting for presentation and your consideration during the past month. but these are North Carolina School Boards Association recommendations from the School Board Association policy subscription revision subscription that we have, and these are all in response to recent legislative changes.
I would note that the one on the alternative learning program, we need to make sure that they're aware of whatever the changes are in this policy.
To which program? Let's make sure she can hear.
Alternative learning. Think about the Learning Academy.
Right. I just want to make sure they heard it. Okay. No questions, no more discussion. Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the North Carolina School Board Association policy revisions as presented.
Have a motion by Mr. Hill,
Second.
second by Mr. Smith. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, gentlemen. And our last action item, Mr. Harvey with our surplus items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The attached item is presented to be considered a surplus. Any proceeds from the sale of this item shall be returned to the appropriate department. It's a child nutrition computer.
Entertain a motion to accept the surplus items. Have a motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Hill. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, gentlemen. Now we'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I move that the North County Board of Education goes to closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel files, to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege, and to consider matters relating to the initial employment of an individual.
Have a motion by Mr. Hill,
Second.
second by Mr. Bogan. All those in favor of going into closed session, please raise your hand. Thank you, gentlemen. We are now in closed session.
I'm running my
Open session. And we'll entertain a motion to approve the personnel report.
Let's approve the personnel report with good addendum.
Motion by Mr. Smith and a second by Mr. Davis. If no further questions, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Okay, Mr. Anderson. I have a motion by Mr. Anderson to adjourn and a second by Mr. Hill. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, we're adjourned.